Yeah, I'm in a jam down state. Yeah, Jamaican state of mind.
Welcome to another episode of Jamaican State of Mind podcast. This is your host Nick, and I'm here with a special guest on our bridging from London, UK.
What's
Bridging
up,
Dane
fam? What's up,
Wagwan.
bro? What's up, bro? Everything good?
What everything bless up, man. Boy, I can't have it on now and there, but scheduling things. So I'm not gonna make it so,
Okay.
and Dane I go do one together, you know. And y'all
Yeah.
remember Dane we do is the second appearance on the podcast. Was here in that last episode we talk about a whole bunch of things back in the days and
Yes.
coronavirus
And,
and all
and
these
living abroad and everything,
living
remember?
abroad. Yeah man. So I'm going over there so with you. How everything holding up.
Well, right now, this is what month 8 of being in lockdown. Things kind of go back to normal slowly.
Mm.
More than likely, or more than not, we feel like there's a unique push. Make sure that people start go back to work, kids start go back to school, because people start really feel the economic effects of it now going into month 8. Month
Yeah.
7 to be exact. So there's a push from the government to start try getting the economy back up and running. There's a program called Eat Out to Help Out. So the government actually has said to people to go out and eat to help out industries to start make some money,
Yeah.
And kids now are encouraged to go back to school. So I think it's starting to go back to normal. But again, we've also seen where a lot of countries where you could go and travel to, like the Greece's and the Portugals, now have been added to the quarantine list, meaning when you come back from there, so you have to stay home for 14 days. So it kind of up and down. Some places you go, you feel like you're good, But the
Yeah.
good thing with London is lots of young people, cosmopolitan, which they feel like they're sort of immune or isolated from the virus, which is not true. But in the streets of London, you see people up and down like nothing is happening. Only when with the society that's a bit more organized than most. If there's a law that says if you're going into Sainsbury's or another supermarket, wear the mask, people wear it. If there's no law, they don't wear it. So you have to actually put in laws and get the people them conscious about it. And that's what me I say.
Yeah.
How is it going in the States?
Wild West over here now, bro. It's like, I remember the last episode, I tell you, like, Americans are rebels.
Yeah.
Americans, we are rebels. You tell us to do something, we now don't want to do it just because of the government have to do it. And that's why most of the states, them and country, actually, most of the states, them and city, them are battle with. A lot of people just not following it. And
I ain't wearing no mask, mate. I ain't wearing no fucking mask.
Exactly. Something simple as wearing a mask, dog.
It's interesting, huh?
You have people get killed over because them somebody tell them to wear a mask. You see me I say? So that's what America is. But like I said, with the young people, them I live here in Georgia, within the metro of Atlanta, and I would tell you, club them ram down. Club and lounge I move like nothing my
As
road.
in indoors stuff.
Indoors, yeah man.
Wow.
When I look at my IG stories and feed, man, I wonder if a pandemic. But then I said to my wife, I wonder if we are overreact over here, so because a lot of people that live like nothing and go on the road, But listen, we just have to adapt for now. I don't know what I'm going in the future, but I would tell you some people out there, them now, at least here, they don't care much. You hear one man say, yo, if him dead, him dead. No. Say, nah, nothing gonna change for you.
Yeah.
So that's where we are still, but I'm some in numbers in some area like New York been tackling it properly, and numbers actually go down in New York.
Yeah.
The battle in the US is that them inflate the numbers then so much that I'm telling you what happened at the US with coronavirus. I blame it 100% on the government and their messaging, and nobody wasn't willing to just say, listen, this is a new thing. I'm not sure how
Yeah.
it will go. I don't know the adoption rate. So
Yeah.
messaging and stuff might change every while we get new information. But nobody not willing to even say that. And then it's like some find out some place that inflate the numbers and things. So you kind of create this mistrust with the people them. So now once you create that mistrust with people them just know I really care for follow everything anymore, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's but we even getting a coronavirus on this episode because it's gonna be the new norm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you listen to this episode, you know something me always say. Me is a man, when it comes to Jamaican politics, I kind of stay away from it. But all over to have my opinion then because I'm a person fundamentally believe this. If you don't own a property here, although your family them own a lot of property. If live at Jamaica, it's hard for me to really tell some people and places where I not live what them need for do. You see me I say?
Yeah.
Me not really like criticize the country and I don't live there. You know what I mean? But with that said,
Yes.
we still have to discuss what going on what day there with the election.
Yeah, no, and you make a key point, because the diaspora, whilst we're not there, I think I think it's fear that is still quite affected. And speaking of which, if you look at what going on recently, remittances whilst down, it has not collapsed. Why? Because the diaspora is still very vibrant with Jamaica. Even me personally, every month my budget of a line item for Jamaica. You understand? Because you can't avoid that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And whilst we not really talk on party lines at the
But
same
that's
time,
a
I
good
think,
point. I didn't look at what you just said, but that's a good point because I didn't think about a lot of people here, although they don't live there, but they actually sending a lot of money back home.
yeah. And
Keep the thing going.
people like me and you help with the situation back home. I keep things going between me and you. You know what I mean? We have been keeping things going because the entire thing kind of go through a wicked economic turmoil.
Yeah.
And me not really. I'm gonna be very transparent with the listeners. I have voted twice in the electoral process, and I have voted for both parties. So I think if anyone can speak, I want my father now listen. I think if anyone can speak, if anyone can speak along party lines, is me because I voted JLP and I voted PNP, and that's me just being very transparent. And for the last decade I've been outside of the country, but nonetheless I keep my ears on the ground because my mother did it, and and a lot of people there where things are tough, and you would hope that the government that is elected can alleviate the burden in the most transparent way. Now, I don't want to say who should win or who should lose, but I think it's worth discussing. One, how we saw the process evolving, how it ended, and how we see it, and how we see the future in the next 5 years. So I don't know, Nicholas, but maybe we can jump in to see how the process started, how it evolved. Because I found it very interesting, Nicholas, that the politicians were using an industry which they themselves has chastised for many years as a scapegoat. What do I mean? Me hear Mr. Universe at the dub plate for Brogard. You see? So them think that, me start meds and me say, hold on. I remember a couple of years ago, the Nice Abatement Act, when Manafia lock off sound at midnight, if so late, and then you couldn't do a party certain days a week. I remember, there are a lot of cottage industry that feed off a dance hall. So when you cut off the sound system and everything, where do you think the peanut man do? Where do you think the jerk chicken man do? Him suffer.
And he actually even with the knives up the act, it even start before that for me when I saw that when they change the law with the words and with I forgot that law with them can't say certain things on the radio and stuff like that. So if an artist not even talented enough. So in Jamaica, literally they hear the radio version and the raw version sometimes are two different songs because they must have to rewrite the song them the words because certain words are banned and the radio
remember,
Jamaica,
man,
and they can't edit it or nothing.
Yes. And there's one, and then there was Payola. payola when they
Yeah,
could have
the
when them
dance.
start track that. So
Yeah,
what
man.
the political thing them do for legislatively, to be honest with me, them fight the dancehall and them fight the grassroots music industry
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion over the years. You know, there are a few of them who kind of verbally kind of leak out against nice abatement. But remember one time as an early 20s youth, I grew up in Jamaica, you could have gone to party beyond 2 o'clock, even midnight, especially if it in a certain location,
Yeah.
and street dance, I think is the politicians they themselves were correlating street dance with violence, which I think was wrong. Because when a man that party and flash and a drink and a smoke, whatever, after that he want to go chill and go home.
You understand? Because when you look on the percentage of violence when it comes to part, it's very low in general. Like, things happen, but that's how anyway you have crowd. Something might happen, but
Exactly.
but but the percentage was very low. So me understand when you say when now it's like all of a sudden everybody have dub plate. You know what I mean? And then some of the artists them are participating in the thing and Bounty Killer did lash out and some of them, Poetry J they are lash out, Kibaka and them man they are lash out, Chronics and also. You know what I mean? So it just show you politician in general, man. That's just politician. Them use benefit them at the moment. And what's the trending thing right now. So, one man do it, then everybody do it.
But as you say, a few artists were against it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But again, is a business. And if you think about it, these politicians, I don't know the figures, but I'm sure they're paying to get these dub plates done. In a time where, not let's say some fest was virtual, so we know say the money they run this, this thing probably not keep, a lot of stage show can go on. So the artists themselves is an opportunity for them to make a look of food, you know what I mean? Because they themselves can't travel, can't do certain thing, and they're restricted. Because
you're right.
The biggest thing you'll get it before you jump in is travel, which is airline and whatever, and entertainment. If you think about it, so they must suffer, man.
So you're right. So I guess me can't knock an artist. With me when it comes to that, right? I understand how the politician them treat dancehall and they don't have no respect for it. And but from my youth, me hear from the guys, right?
Yeah.
Rather hear dub play, than hear some man dead, Cause a youth from the guys, remember when man come out with gate and knock just to make sure one who vote.
Exactly.
Everybody vote. You see me say? Like the luxury where we complain sometime in a country like America or even say UK. Like from you to the guys, remember man I come at the gate at knock at cross off name and them thing that I make sure we vote for the right thing. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So and I remember on election time and the gunshot and the tension and them thing that so for Jamaica to the fact that dancehall artists doing dub plate is the biggest controversy. Me take that any day.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
You're right. And I remember, I mean, it coming back from the 1980s election when Edward Siaga went on the mic and him say, and this is a fact, this is not me trying to highlight any political party versus the other. But it started there when he said, you know what, I think paraphrasing, if it's we're going to win, whether by blood or by force, we're going to win, And it started a culture in Jamaica where it was political violence. If you were green or you were orange, you're in the risk of losing your life or whatever. And it started in the 1980s. So me and you, whilst we grew up with some tension, it was never as bad as that 1980s election where people actually died. Man come knock your gate and say, yo, I go on your vote already, but I see. For example, I grew up in a predominantly, in my time at least, in my latter years, predominantly JLP area, but my father, is of a different persuasion. And is a man where wear a little orange kerchief around his neck and give two F's, you know what I mean? So I mean worry for him, but at the same time people were so loving. Them say, watch it now, all comrade, watching all socialists, and them laugh about it and them move on because them know say my era go win no matter what my father vote for or not. So I'm never even too worry about that, But you do have some era where it's probably close and each vote count, and I don't know that experience, but probably people end up feeling scared. There were some complaints of scare tactics happening in this one as well, but we need to know how detailed that was.
But let's see, before we even get this, like even with me too, where we live to, same strong Cherokee here. Actually, our MP through our era back in the day was Andrew
Mm.
Walness. So me I
Yeah.
say, but me, well, down there, so he was our MP through our
Yeah.
era. But me remember days where, like, literally, bro, right up the top of the street, right across, like a PMP sign. And remember me have some friend where used to live over there, so, and dog, would have to take, like, it would take me 2 minutes walk up the road to go link them, you know. But would have to
Mm-hmm.
walk the long road, because me can't make the man them sister me I come from a JLP area
Exactly.
and step right in a PMP area. That's how the tension used to
And
crazy. Some
just for probably non-Jamaican listeners,
yeah.
when Nicholas said that we're not talking about miles apart, we're talking about
No.
probably a good 600 meter apart, where
You're right
down
there,
the
so
road, down the road, you see
literally
probably, I don't know, JLP, and then 600 meters up the road, you're talking about PNP, and
PMP.
you can't even walk the straight line. You have to go round,
That man
you have
don't
to
know
probably,
what the man knows I come from this part of town.
exactly,
Yeah man.
exactly. It's
So
interesting, huh?
yeah, so them vibes that me grew up on that and them things. So me understand so yeah, it was not violent, but I remember when man shoot out transformer and we blackout for days in our elections and
Mm-hmm.
like we not no power.
Yeah.
Be going so growing up in my era it was a lot of tension, a lot of
Yes.
shit where yo at a certain hours they can't be outside. So me remember that. So now when me see election I go to Jamaica and everybody are doing violence. As I'm saying, me, but I take the dog plate over that any day. You see me? I say,
Absolutely.
like I say,
Absolutely.
PMP and JLP people, I make them nice, man, show no social distancing. You see me? I
Mm-hmm.
say,
Mm-hmm.
but me take that any day than the levels that I remember
I
growing up.
guess, to be honest, I think we start from a very bad baseline, very bad foundation of absolute violence. So, we'll always take something better than that, and I agree. But I think the electorate or the voters need to start stepping up one more level. Where yes, we can enjoy the niceness and enjoy the baseline in our dub plate, but make sure so when it come on to your ex or beside the bell or the head or whatever they want to call it, so you have vote on some sort of issue that
Yeah,
say, okay, legislatively, if that go through, you'll be better off, or somebody else around you'll be better off. Because a lot of people don't care, because them don't see the direct correlation between JLP, PNP, and them job, or JLP, PNP, and them cash flow. So I really people are close to it, and then the curry goat and white rice politics still play a part. Because I've
yeah.
heard stories where, a lot of handouts were given on the day and before the day to sway votes, which is normal. You get 10,000 there,
And
40,000
honestly,
there.
that's just the fucked up thing is that's just Jamaica politics. That's it.
But the one
So,
thing that kind of disappoint me, and I'm speaking
yeah,
quite objectively, was that the PNP brought that into their manifesto. I think as a last clutch at a straw resort, because they said they're going to give $3,000 towards light bill, $1,000 towards water. Nico Bell, my mother light bill come to 7,500, and get the people. If them light bill at 5,000, they give them three. Them ask for the next two.
see
Because
the
they want
money full.
everything. So if your light bill is 5,000, somebody give you three. I said, but hold on there. Based on them entitlement, they must say, hold on there. Why is someone give you 3,000 or 5,000 need? Then now,
Yeah.
please, me helping them. Please, this someone not complete. So but things that kind of the back for you a little bit.
But
This is the result.
let me get you in. So with everything Jamaica, cause me post something on my IG page and a couple of people comment on the story.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of
Yeah.
people comment about the JLP and PMP thing. So what you think with the overall with everything happened with the the final result? We all know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
What you think about that? What's your opinion on that?
Now, what one thing is there's a lot of, I think there's some strategy in it. So historically, well, the JLP has never won back-to-back seats since 1962. It's the first time. Our when I say our, I mean Calabar community, our old boy, Percival James Patterson, since me a boy told me an adult at PGI, our prime minister, he run the thing for a good, I don't know, 4 or 5 terms,
Mm-hmm.
So I think the JLP, they were quite strategic because a low voter turnout historically has favored the JLP. If you look on the margin, brother, the JLP won by just over 100,000 votes. And the voter turnout was 37%, the lowest ever. And, so if you look on how Andrew Holness had his victory speech, when he said to people, he didn't even care that much about who voted. He was so targeted at who didn't vote. I realized that the people that would never vote, if they were to vote PNP, which I think most of them would have, he could have been closer. Remember, between Portia Simpson and Andrew Holness 5 years ago, 2016, they won by around 1 or 2 seats. It was around 63 seats. JLP won 32, PNP won 31. Now, JLP won 49, PNP won 13. Bro, that's how it worry me. Because when you have such a high majority in Parliament, the JLP right now can do anything they want in terms of passing a law. Remember, the two issues that the Jamaican people always worry about with the JLP was what? Corruption, right? And it was 2 years, corruption and crime. Now, and Andrew want to start about it, and I'm saying, listen, with corruption, hold me accountable. But, I mean, anyone can say anything. When you have such a drunken majority, I'm a bit worried about that. So, to be honest, I think it was a surprise. A lot of people you think were so strong. Let me give you an example, just to be.
I wasn't surprised, though.
No?
No.
I was surprised with the end result, but the magnitude of it. For example, Lisa.
Yeah, the magnitude, yeah, but not the end result.
Lisa Anna, for example, she won. Lisa Anna Southeast St. Anne, jail. I think PNP has never lost that seat, and for Lisa Anna to be working so hard, well, ostensibly she's been working hard. And on Instagram, that's how we keep in touch with them and see her presence XYZ.
But that's just an Instagram thing. That's what people say.
She won by 14 votes. So you're right. Yeah. You're probably right. She won by 14 votes. BLA. And I see that PNP has never lost. Peter Bunting, who challenged Peter Phillips last year, September, he lost in Manchester. And then he's not even by a guy who come in quickly and sweep up the vote. So I think the people were won. This is my opinion. I don't think PNP lost to the JLP. I think PNP lost to themselves, and this is what I mean. The PNP core, they were apathetic towards the whole thing. They were disinterested. They never come out and vote. But in my opinion, and this is not me talking to nobody, I think the PNP core is also older. Because JLP, bro, God appealed a bit more to the younger youth them. And if PNP older with COVID, just do the maths, If you're an older voter, you're not come out during COVID, you can run the risk. So I think COVID favored the JLP, and the low voter turnout favored the JLP, and Andrew Holness knew this. Think about that. They could have waited. They had until end of February, March to call election. They call it now. So he knew that. Yeah. And also, there's a link on Jamaica as well. In Trinidad, PNM, they won, which is the incumbent. And Jamaica usually call them election after Trinidad. To just get it, and that's exactly what Brogard do. So I think the JLP were quite strategic. I think Brogard more in touch with the people, with the youth. You see, we were all green clerks and things. So, and he also had a good PR team. He did that. Yeah. I think the elections were split, and then, but the Brogard knows to listen. The debates. Brogard didn't do a good job in the debate, but he knew that the debate had nothing to do with the election. There's no correlation. So maybe you can give me your points of view on it, but that are my 2 cents, bro.
Yeah, no, I mean, I make some valid points, but for me, it wasn't surprising. I'm telling you why. Just like I said, Brogard PR team has done such a beautiful job over the last couple of years. They make Andrew Holness. I'm gonna tell you, I was the MP for my era. I mean, he come from a ghetto area at the time. Somebody never really like that to make him likable. Exactly. Andrew Holness from Facebook and IG.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the things that him do. Like my father point out more, they say like the video that me have when water run and take off him shoes and cross the water so still go meet with the people. You know, understand, like that's politician have to do with show, It sometimes have nothing to do with the whatever bill I try pass, whatever all of them things. It all have to do with presentation. And Broga do a good job presenting himself as this man of the people, likable, all of these things. It doesn't
But
matter if you agree with everything you might do. But unfortunately, that's just how politics work. That's how politics work in
but you
America.
remember, let me jump in there on that point, and then I may give out the mic. I was watching something the other day. Norman Manley, remember, Norman Manley was seen as an aristocrat. Buster Mantle from the JLP was seen as a man of the people. Now, Norman Manley was never able to cross that line of being a man of the people. That's why I tell you, the last time JLP went back to back was 1962, led by Buster Mantle.
Yeah.
The Norman Manley's son come in, Michael Manley. You know Michael Manley do? When the union them are uprise, in the march with them, them do in the front of the line. And the police, them must hold the gun upon them. And at the front of the union march line. And he goes, some woman tear his shirt and say, "Wanna shoot me." Since then, you think nobody can say nothing about Michael Manley?
Exactly.
He moved from a place of unrelatable to likability just with one move. So instead of bro got to take off his shoes and everything, you know what Jamaican people think. You have to be a part of them. You get?
But the thing is not just Jamaican people. It's just people.
True.
Because all right, they can just to correlate something. I remember when what's his name? George Bush was running. And Bush and a lot of people said them like George Bush because they feel like he can have a beer with him compared to it was John Kerry at the time, who is just feeling like
remember
you get what I'm saying? So unfortunately, people in general, if people like you, them like you.
That's it.
You understand what I'm saying? And I guess him do a good job of that, which a lot of stuff is debatable. But my problem when people, or my argument to some point when people talk about GLP and some of the field stuff going on in Jamaica, where I'm like, all right, 1989, PNP election, right?
True.
Like, we do the maths now.
Yeah.
1989 to 2020, that's 31 years, right? 31 years. Out of that 31 years, PNP had like what was in power for 23 years. 18 years consecutively.
Yep.
So this is the third time JLP won.
Yep.
In a 31 years. I don't want to blame everything from JLP.
Exactly.
To me, that's what don't get me. Because you know, two sides of my family, you know, die-hearted them in that PNP.
Yeah.
They would have fire for me if they hear me like talk like My father the only one who say kind of take himself from that life. But when you talk about me, anti them and my them people are die-hearted.
Labor and then PNP, show labor right and bell.
You no matter what them do. And just even for me, on a personal note, right? When my people them grew up when we used to live in Portland, right? Like for years with this, we go there, so we grew up there, we travel back there. No road in my youth. The road bad in there like a riverbed, you know. Water now running a pipe and them thing then.
PNP.
PNP, you know. Dog. The one term JLP win back in the early 2000s. Dog, when we go to Jamaica, a smooth sailing per road. I said, well, there are some areas that was impossible to travel. You can actually have two separate ways to go to that community now. Two. Yeah. One time you had only one. So the point of me I say is that the years PNP at that era, right? Our people had the contribution to do stuff. Yo, the road bad, no water. One term JLP got into power, the man then fixed all of the road. Me attack a whole stretch of road. The man then fixed that the water running a pipe. People actually build pipe running on them yard now. You get what I'm saying?
It's interesting that you said that the water was a big thing with the cockpit country being a big part of the debate and roads. And we like the JLP response, you know, because they said, listen, we've done the investment. You know, if you think about it, we've been in for the last 4 years. Before that, you had 2 term Mama P and you had probably about 4 or 5 term a Percival. You know what I mean? So how come we're not going to blame we now when in the last 4 or 5 years, albeit through overseas investment, the country has definitely developed its road infrastructure. It takes 40 minutes from town to Ochi, and if you want taxi man, maybe 25. You understand me? So, the road is there and things have come through, but one thing I can tell you, since me know Jamaica, the PNP has had a reputation of being a social democracy with a better handle on crime. The JLP has always had a better handle on the economy. You understand me? Think about it, when it flip round, JLP always have a better handle on crime. But you know me meds it and say, think about it, for 19
Well, on,
years.
stick up in right there, so. Get a message, boy Carter try join now. So me see if he make it. Hold on.
I hope him don't come in and try disrupt the flow. You know?
Boy Carter decided to join the podcast right now. I'm late in the middle of a good conversation me and Dean having about the Jamaican politics and the current situation with the current result of the election, you know. So
all right,
Carter.
well, I'm not gonna interrupt. I'm just gonna chime in. So just continue where you left off. Let me just hear what the hot topics are, and then I will give my perspective on the different.
Just to give you an update, we it's 3 segments. One is how the election started and the methodology used, which was the dub plates and the people. Now we're into the results, how surprising they were, and if we agree with the results and how that affect the people and the psyche of the people. And then the last phase where we're going to go into is how do we see the country moving forward now post this result. So we're talking about the result now. And me and Nicobel actually are digging at some real meat of the matter with Jamaican politics and how who is to be blamed. Because if you think about it, Percival James, a Calabar old boy, had the country for almost 2 decades. And JLP only have it for like 5 years, let's say. So who to be blamed for the problems? If you do the maths, Nicobel do a good maths on himself from 1989 to now at 30 years. So why is it that people still so adamant that JLP mess up things, which probably they did, but you know the must not add up. So that's where we're at, Carter.
Wonderful, lads. Continue. Don't let me stop you. Keep going.
Yes, I think I was at where JLP just historically by them branding. Remember, Manly coming with social democracy, and then Siaga take a different angle. So JLP has always been known as the middle class, the upper class party. Although Bustamante was more related to the people. But Burgard do him bring it back to the people. And then JLP always have a good angle on the economy with a bad angle on crime. Just in general terms. Yeah. But look at it again, Nicobel. Think about it. If you rule a country for 19 years with most of the resources, and sometimes I remember Edward Siaga had such a meager opposition. Sorry, Edward Siaga had such a meager opposition. Just like now, when PMP have a bad opposition, Edward Siaga sometimes, Eddie in the parliament and Percival a boxing left, right and centre, kind of probably one 10 seat opposition. You understand me? Now, I think this is my interpretation. Think about it. I think the JLP, and this is facts, I think. The JLP has more control of the garrisons. If you think about it, more garrisons are JLP than PNP, in my estimation. Right?
Yeah, but they know most of the garrisons save PNP seats. This now.
Then that may I show you?
So PNP know. So most of the seats them where PNP win.
Is
the Rock Fort or the garrison them. Yeah.
All right. So, you think what if most of the garrisons, an overwhelming majority of the garrisons are PNP seats, when the opposition in power, how you think you're gonna have a handle upon crime? And me and politics going to Jamaica. Yeah. Listen, in my constituency where we come from, brother, you have Grand Spen, you have Morgan Lane, you have Barbican. So if the man them want to flare up, some of them know for do it, You understand me? So if you want your garrison to flare up to show a bad example for something, you can always do it. I mean, me not talk above myself. Me know so that go on, because I see it with my own eye. So if PNP in power for over 20 years and them have all of the seats, it's very difficult for JLP control crime. That's what I say at the grassroots level. Now JLP have to find a way now.
Especially when them cut resources.
Exactly. JLP now have to find a way now that they're in power to make sure that they put a hand upon crime. If JLP can put a hand upon crime and corruption, bro, God might do a Percival James for a good while,
Yeah. No, you put it well proper together. Cause you say, cause like I said, my worry is that hopefully I'm not drunk. But they say, I don't know. Maybe it's just my naive thing. Like I said, I'm gonna live at Jamaica, so the day-to-day, everybody day-to-day struggles and them thing there is so different. Is that
different.
And when we travel a yard and we see the setup and thing, it's so. I mean, sometimes when we go here, I say, how some people survive that because it's rough.
Rough.
It's rough. But, like, cause even my family, cause one of my cousin there, up on the pod goes there, seeing people on PMP, them was even running in the Portland race. She was, running for pick up her seat, but Vaz beat her, and and that's my cousin family. So ingrained at the family ingrained at the PMP, as I say. But I'm just open. I personally think Andrew Wellness. That's my personal thought. I think it mean good for the country. But to control Jamaica with the lack of discipline and the corruption is hard. Nothing is a difficult task. And it's like I said this, I wish Jamaica would pick up some of the Singapore model as a country. Because me always talk about Singapore, because once I watched this thing from Singapore and I was so like
impressed,
the way they impressed. Although them have some weird laws where we can, free speech issue where we can debate about. But Singapore as a country transition themselves from a third world country to a top economic powerhouse within our lifetime. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
It is rarely seen.
It's it's surprising, Nicholas, that you said that, because each time you guys talk about Jamaica, they tend to, a lot of third world countries, when they make references, they always go, "Oh, we could be the next Singapore." But the fact of the matter is, in the debate, especially the finance debate, there was a question posed, and it said, "How can you then transition the dependency from tourism? Given that the COVID-19 crisis has shown that, listen, tourism might not be the same going forward." And the Singapore thing kind of come up again, because they must say, we have to improve IDT and infrastructure and that and this and that. It have to start at the grassroots level. You know what I mean? There was a big debate again around some program where them give us some iPad, where the teacher them use the iPad and put it on Instagram. So the discipline, as I said, the discipline of it there, when the local resources come, you use it for the right purpose. And as you said, Singapore is more leaning towards a pseudo communist kind of lifestyle more than even a democracy. You know what I mean? So the level of discipline is important. I mean, the things that Jamaica have it in. You know what Carter think? I'm silent. Where am I? Jeremy? Where is he?
Listen, good point to bring up Singapore.
Wait, eating oxtail? What a man love oxtail, sir?
No.
Nico Bell, have you ever seen someone love oxtail more than this man?
No.
Jamaican theater mind, right? Big up yourself.
Big up yourself, man.
But good point to bring up Singapore. Not sure if it's the right model for Jamaica to follow, because it's they're on the, but they're almost a communist society in the way how their government carry out their rules and regulations, because like it's one of the countries that to this day, like, you go there and you litter your country, like if you throw something on the floor, or pee or urinate where you shouldn't urinate, there's still laws for you to get flagged. You know what I mean? So,
when it comes, no, listen, I agree. Like Singapore has some weird laws, but when I have to tell you, where I took from that, right, was that what I took from Singapore was that, all right, in order to transition the country into what it is, you have to like be strict a little.
Yeah.
So I say, when you talk about garbage, you know, Jamaica, and they say people complain about flooding every damn rainfall, people flooding, but they might be seeing people litter the goddamn drain. But you're still my boss of the government now, I don't know. You understand what I'm saying? It's like Jamaica, the discipline in Jamaica, two things you have to tackle. I think two things is important. And we can get in we don't know the complaint. We'll try to get talk about some things that we see the country can try to improve or make changes. Two things afterhand. You have to educate the people, and
that is it.
You have to create opportunity. Because you cannot educate people and there's no opportunity. It don't make no sense. Because me and a person I discuss on IG, I'm talk about educate. Me say if you educate that bunch of people, them go wait master's degree and bachelor's degree and all these degrees, all these 10 subjects, but them not no work. you know, you have people that sit down in a yard right now, Jamaica with master's degree. Nah, nothing to do. Can't move out of them parents' house.
Brain drain.
The brain drain, I got jump in, everybody I got look for migraine. So it has to be two together. You have to educate the people and show them the benefits of being educated.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Because if you educate people and then create opportunities, then it will make sense. But it's
like that equation there, Nicobel. But
yeah.
No, I like that equation there, you know, education and opportunity, you know, and balancing the seesaw. But, you know, we kind of look at it semi-different in a sense that if you overload on education, you know, you got have a organic growth and opportunities because right now as it stands, you know, the people, because, you know, I tell people, never you let school get in the way of your education. Because some people think that, you know, education is going to school and that. No. Education is also understanding your surrounding and know if you navigate it to get the best of yourself. You know what I mean? That is educating yourself. So I think, you know, if you have an overload in education, you have a spillage of brain drain. People like us will leave the country and try to make a better life outside because opportunity lacking. But that's the old school mentality in terms of a workforce mentality. No, the youth, listen, when they're on Instagram, I can't look at so much Jamaican blogger you have, so much Jamaican YouTuber or make a little money from overseas and things.
Oh, yeah, good.
So,
I was going to get into that, but yeah.
Yeah,
continue.
but I wonder if, thinking about your point, I wonder if we push education a lot, the resultant effect will be that people become smarter, more entrepreneurial, and start do things differently. So them create opportunities for themselves too. You get me? What do you think about that?
I was glad I finished it that way because that's my perspective on where it comes from an educational standpoint where, listen, if more persons had access to education after high school, whether it be tertiary or apprenticeship programs, you need that next level training and exposure to take your mindset from the teenage years and able to gather your thoughts. And by gathering your thoughts, that means you're able to organize yourself as an entrepreneur, not just a hustler. You know what I'm saying? We have a whole heap of that in Jamaica. Every little step you make, there's a little mama and pop shop where I sell little boot with a bun and cheese, whatever it is, right? But guess what? My experience working as a microfinance loan officer and dealing with the micro business, not even small business, the micro mama and pop. When you go and you say, listen, calculate if this loan is really going to benefit you or your business. Because if you're borrowing a little $100,000 loan and the interest rate is 1% per week, and you can't able to pay that in 10 weeks, which is only 10%, that is the only way you win, right? The lower the pay, the quicker the time you take to pay it up, that's the way you win as an entrepreneur.
They don't understand that.
but and then when you go and tell them, say, all right, mommy, tell me, can you show me? You don't even have to show me a spreadsheet. Show me now like a book. What you make from the business on a weekly basis, not even monthly, weekly, separate from, and then how much are you taking from the business for pay your personal bills? When you take it out, when you check the stock, the house, the household and the business are one, so she can't differentiate. And so she take money from the business and pay the light bill, but she can't restock. You understand? Then she have also what she can't control, which is the poverty around her where people that trust her goods them. So she can't, she's on a timeline for say, Tom Jones need to pay about the money by a weekend so she can restart the business. Sometimes Tom Jones disappear upon her, you understand? My thing is this, just to help these people to understand that's the concept of business and not a hustle. Just and knowledge of operating their own business, or you register your business, or you pay a tax, you know what I mean?
That's why I come back down to, you know, I think if we can like on Nicobel starting, you know, you have to have both. But I think once your education and opportunity needs to go on in and but I think the more educated you become, the more you have productivity. And the more productivity you have, more opportunity. Because remember, you know, economic talk about something called labor productivity, you know. Whilst mommy now, she now manage books well, her thing now grow. If she educated and manage books well, her productivity increase, she create more opportunity. So it's a you know, I'm able to want to go too technical for the audience then, but I said, listen, at the end of the day, if people can't make it to Jamaica, they might go somewhere else. You know what I mean? Just like where a lot of us on this podcast did. So at the end of the day, locally, they have to start, you know, you're right, Nicobel. Government have to start help too and create an industry, you get me?
But But they say you made a valid point where I didn't even think about that part, which I guess like the more people know, the more people are exposed to other things, maybe their creativity will expand a little more. But it's still like what you said about the other day I was thinking exactly what you said earlier. Like with the Instagram and the YouTube where you have someone in Jamaican, the blogger them, travel people them, and I love it because that create a whole area of people who advertise Jamaica the best in the culture, from food, from whatever it is, and there's so many of them. Cause I follow a lot of them, a lot of them follow me, and them thing there. One of my cousin have a page called the Best Jamaican Experience, where him highlight a whole bunch of different vibes in a Jamaica, and him have over 11, 12,000 followers and them thing there, and it keep growing. So I'm, you have the rest of them, and one of my favorite one I call Portland 876. You know, me love.
Yes, I follow that one too. It's a
Yeah,
nice one.
I know me love Portland, and one of my a lot of years of me love it. So it's like me love them thing, and they create a whole. So coming back to that now, I feel like Jamaica have a lot of creative people, just like a of them, right? You have the man with necktie jelly man, where him sell jelly in a necktie and him cut it with him eye clothes. You ever seen it?
Yeah, I'm seeing that one.
Alright. That is so dangerous, but at the same time, the man has separate himself from another jelly man where I sell jelly. You know
when you put it by AGT, America's Got Talent, you put a danger act as a danger act.
Man, I cut the jelly with the Michael. But the point of the people, because when people now know what's going on, and people back against what people, two things are happening. You're going to suffer or you're going to find a way out of it. A lot of people in Jamaica are very creative. And I feel that's a part of the entertainment department, in a sense, the government not investing and should invest in.
You're right.
When we look on some of them YouTube, that were doing them little clips and them things, right? We are like them TV show. Why Jamaica have like a little investment in a studio department? All of them, man, where you may say Jamaican youth, then we are do cartoon. I make little cartoon skit pan. Not even just video skit. I mean like them draw the whole cartoon. I mean I know them do them cartoon things.
No, actually, yeah. I'm like you flesh out the point, Nicholas, and just to bring back the audience, right now we are trying to say, based on COVID and the politics we are going, how can Jamaica now transition from a dependency on tourism to something else where we can get money from other things? And it's you're right, because no matter all the educated populace push, if you don't have government policy for help, then we're going to run against a brick wall at some point. So you're right. The government need to start help them and create a platform for them. So I'm like, you're right.
Yeah, create a platform for you have you like how many talented you that can draw and do them. True. Like I'm saying, you have so many creativity in Jamaica. It's ridiculous, and I don't think the government doing justice in helping some of them young youth realize their potential. Like create the audience. You want to tell me say you have these big TV stations and them rather show a whole bunch of American programming? Like bro, create a lot of local programming on the TV then man. Everything don't have to be about the thing with Jamaica that know and like with them promote. Everything don't have to be about music, entertainment. You understand what I'm saying? We are not just that. So that's what I'm saying, like, the man who do them comedy skit, the man who do them animated cartoon, give them a shot. Like, create an opportunity for that. I don't know why we're not highlighting. You go any other country, everybody show them original thing. Jamaica, we're not original programming. Big up Benzi Hyper, me and my crew. I don't know if you ever watched that thing, man. Put it up somewhere on YouTube now. Where him spending money. I shot him like a TV show.
Innocent crew, brother. Innocent crew,
brother. Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's
what I say. He might try, he might do him thing, but guess what? Him a fee, money he might spend. But I feel like no one bag a fee. But you get what I'm saying? But he might try doing, he might do him thing, not try, he might do him. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you have so many other people who are creative without the bucket. That's all I'm saying. And they can open up a whole other industry right there. Job opportunity. You know what I mean?
But I was listening just to consider that was watching an episode of On Stage with Winford interviewing Damien Crawford, right?
Yeah.
It was the whole interview was around the whole using up the dub plate and the entertainers to gather voters' attention, right? But one of the main points that I remember from that interview was, but asking him what are some of the things that he has on his mandate for the entertainment industry, and one of the major things he mentioned was even for all the established dancehall artists and reggae artists, there's no registry, meaning these artists their songs are being played, their songs are being used in various forms of marketing and promotion, but they're not yielding any form of, income from this, residue. And he said that is one of the things like for a reggae industry and dancehall industry to have so much of an impact on the world music, but yet still there's no. When you ask, I think they were was it Tanto Metro and Devante? They were asking if their song is registered, if they're receiving.
If I get royalty for the song, everyone fall in love. They're not. And that's one of the biggest dancehall songs ever.
This song is probably almost 20 years in existence and being used in so many different platforms. And yet they seem like nonchalant or I don't know if
I think that come back to education, like you're not saying.
But their energy was as to do as okay, well, yeah.
But the mature.
I'm like, bro, your song has been used in movies and all these different things, but yet you have not collected any of the benefit.
But to be fair to Jamaica, most developing our third world country to use the narrative them give us, they struggle with intellectual property rights. If you look at Nigeria, the Nollywood industry, one of the biggest film industry right now and growing, was at the most piracy. Every man bring a DVD and sell it the movie. You understand me? So, and that's when the couple point come back, this is where now the government have to help. Because, if you have an industry that is quite intangible and about intellectual property rights, Jamaica with JIPRO, they've struggled for the last decade or so to get that up to speed, You know what I mean? So I think the government, you're right, have to come in and help. Because the creative industry, given that it's so new, it needs the support of government to really back it, to get it to a level of maturity. Now, I hope. The thing is, they could have avoided it because tourism a boom and they make the money. Now with tourism now going so good and the future not even looking so good for tourism, they now have to make policies in place, as Nico Bell said, to give the youth an opportunity to make sure that intellectual property rights is taken care of, to make sure that people earn the right revenues for them product, because the intellectual property is a product of somebody's imagination, and ring fence that properly so people can actually get the right revenues. Until then, it will always be anti-mouth, box-mouth, except when you do a stage show or you have your Apple Music or your Spotify or you have a proper distribution through certain studios. But the government needs to make sure that everything what the youth them do intellectually is
everything come out of Jamaica should be registered in Jamaica by any copyright laws or whatever. So anytime it use the revenue have to come back in Jamaica and they have to disperse it where it needs to go. That's like everything will come out of America that America own. It have to go through the right procedure. And but want to stick on the entertainment point too long, because that's my thing also. I don't want as Jamaica to feel like that's the only thing we can produce.
No,
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that is just to contribute to what you guys were talking about in terms of, yes, looking outside of the educational realm and the different avenues of which are earning income. I just say you have the YouTube vloggers, you have the Instagram personality. But how do we package this as a solution to change the direction of the economy? The dollar is at US $1 to 150 Jamaican dollars. I mean, I don't know if there's a solution that is existing within the company right now. My drastic solution is like, to me, not to sound like me give up, but like, listen, man, right now, you just take two rich men right and over by a Jamaican kind of invest invest in some factory that can actually manufacture things at a cheaper rate than some of the competition, because right now I export nothing, and them just a build up whole heap of house where me not get it. You just a build up whole heap of house on the place and now export nothing. I expect say, oh, you have a few and I put the house at $1 million and all that money.
Listen, I'm gonna put a certain point in this. Cause I thought about some solution, like things are easy, and Carter, I think many thought about it right now a while ago. Where Jamaica need to take the lead right now. I think I read somewhere they have a factory. Are they trying to start a factory that does it? All right. Marijuana, support they decriminalize marijuana, right? But I feel like they need to just totally make it legal. Need to take any restriction off of it. And the reason why I say that, there's so many products that can be made from marijuana. Not just for smoke purposes or for leisure purposes or whatever. I'm just talking. You have hemp. You have right now. You have the big thing now, CBD. Like, why would not? We should be leading on them front. That's all. We should be leading as the Caribbean culture, because you have to understand, we already have the marketing when it comes to ganja and marijuana. It's already there, you know. The marketing is already there, you know. So you have hemp that come from marijuana plant. Hemp is a material that can make literally almost anything. You can make clothes out of it. You can make paper out of it. All I'm saying is there's an opportunity there where let me tell you this. That's when when US legalized marijuana nationwide as a country and not just by state. You see, if Jamaica can make certain states, Jamaica will be so irrelevant in that sense. You get what I'm saying? Because there's so many. That's what I'm saying. That's one part. But I'm saying I don't know if nobody will even think about that. Like the opportunity where marijuana, the industry can have factory, the job opportunity they create. That's stuff Jamaican can export out of the country. You get what I'm saying? So that's one area. That I'm saying. I think something missing there. I'm not the expert on it, but I just read something about the hemp and back in the day in the US and all of that. And I'm just saying that's an opportunity I think Jamaica is losing on right now, because we already have the marketing.
No, but it's a good point. And if you think about it, it's not a new model, because Amsterdam, as a tourist destination, a huge majority of the footfall that goes through Amsterdam is because of that. Them go Amsterdam for the experience of trying out the product and the different industries around the product, from restaurants to side pharmaceuticals via CBD or rubbing marijuana on your skin. But Jamaica, if you think about it, Jamaica is a net importer of products around the world. And for us to be a net exporter, we have to be better than the others. So if we are doing anything we're going on, bro, the problem with Jamaica is that cost of production very high based on the fuel cost. Never even go far. Look on JP, so they kill off people now in the households. Imagine what they do one factory. That's why Trinidad killed it, because Trinidad had fuel and they were able to cut the manufacturing production costs. You know what I mean? Jamaica need to fix that. So that's one bit. The next thing we have to, that's only government help, because you're right. If US ever take on marijuana and go wide scale, think about it. Now, it's not just a Westmoreland, weed from Westmoreland stronger or weed from Upper Saint is stronger. No, you have to have production capacity where you have consistency in quality. So if you want indica, CBD or sativa, it has to be that through the entire year. So them the good thing that we have to learn with the government have to help. But you're right. It's a huge opportunity, brother, where as the cultural mecca of this product in terms of the people mind, we should have leveraged it already. We're behind, and these are the things we have to kind of step up on the right. And that's it. We don't know if the government's scared, coming minor. If you think about Jamaica, it's all coming back from UK colonization system. The entire parliament is UK still, from what I'm set up. In the UK, marijuana is still very tabooed. It's not there yet. So them look at things that play upon my mind, but we have to be careful. So them things they will need to start get over. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. So I'm just saying that's just one here. I'm just saying there's opportunity where we have, and we're just not tackling it. You know what I mean? What do you think, Carter? Bro, you're mute.
Carter ruined the podcast, man.
We can go on and on about the Jamaican economy and the things they have missed. But to me, I just said the UK, the colonization.
So it's not so we are going on and on and on. But me as a man, me as a man, not like complain without having interject some solution to a problem.
But I can go on now with that with the UK colonization mentality because, but what my thing is, they've started. I see a few marijuana businesses in Jamaica, which kind of making it seem formalized and uptown, where it seems cool among the upper echelon, right? But as you say, we're in 2020 now. Jamaica is known for the Rastafarianism, the reggae music, and the weed that follows it, right? The marijuana. But here we are in 2020, but we still have a problem with Bitniaga school with the dreads. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Brother, come on. Like, seriously.
Mentality, man.
Speak about the colonization and that. We're still in a 2020 and talk about Bitniaga school with dreads. When you go on the streets here in America, when people hear your accent, the first thing they must associate with some Bob Marley thing or some
Rastafari, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, like they think dread at one point.
And but here we are in 2020 I talk about pick me a gas school with locks. So over talk about established branding of marijuana and be the leader in it when we can't even freaking deal with colonization.
Exactly. We need to get rid of we need to get rid of this Christianity in the culture, that ingrained in the culture that cause people to be donkey. And which is nobody understand what that means, backward. Because that's where
that shit. Not for them still wear the same curly white wig pan them that talk about parliament. I'm like, bro, seriously?
Yeah, because people feel understand, Jamaica have independence, but Jamaica is an independent colonized country. That's it. Because we're not a republic.
Mentally.
No, not mentally and physically. Because the Queen still has to bless.
No, you're right. Because
the Queen still has to bless. The governor has to still bless.
Yeah.
So Jamaica is not a total independence. Jamaica
you're right.
A republic. But we even want to get into that because we have so many shit to say on that and with that time. But let me say people in here, we understand the struggle of Jamaica. And for me, I love Jamaica to the core. Is the man say? But the fact that I have to leave the country for better my life, a majority of people have done that. It sucks. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes even my fantasize like, all right, what would I do for you? What would I take me for move back to Jamaica with what I have? Like, what would I do? You know what I mean? But then the violence now entice me. You know what I mean? If my dad Jamaica live in a nice neighborhood and drive a nice vehicle, automatically I can be a target. You know what I mean? If we go me after watch me head back. Like the man said, nobody want to live like that. Is the man said so the last thing last solution we would have to tackle being, and maybe you never think about this, but since I'm gradually going to that field, and Carter discussed this extensively, where in IT, right? You have all of these different layers in IT, firewall engineer, networking engineer, cybersecurity engineer, all of these positions, right? And if Jamaica understand the opportunity also, and it's something when I gain, and I said this, when I gain all the experience I need to gain in this field, I would find a way to find an opportunity to make a link with Jamaica, to have people teach on this, because just understanding this field, right? You don't need a 4 years degree to make six figures.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't need all I need is certification and expert. And know what you do. You know what I'm saying? And for years and all of this kind of get exposed. Trump ban and limit H1B visas, right? If your H1B visa, well, a lot of the tech company and a lot of company utilize to get certain people over here, right?
Yeah.
And with that exposed now, a country like India, Pakistan, and them country there, even though everybody always associate them with IT, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons why is it's not say them know anything more than we. It just to them, and it's just that they understood the game. So,
Yeah.
for example, me in the position, me get an opportunity to working at the position, me know what I do, me say, yo, Dean, boom, go study this specific thing, get this specific certification, do
Yeah.
this specific thing, boom, guess what? America lack of these people, boom, get you over here on a visa sponsorship program. Because you're now valuable as a when them people know, they make them money, build up them big house back home, and when them done, then go back on them yard. That's why most, if you notice, like in China, even India, them have them own so-called Silicon Valley type model right now. Isn't
Yeah.
it? A majority of these people come here in America and get and work at a big tech company, them and go back home and then start them own thing. All I'm saying that I'm just trying to say that there's so many avenues of opportunity
But me like that Nico Bell, but
and
that's spin it, bro, because me like it, and Scandinavia, some Eastern European country, and some Asian country. If you want to build a product now and you want a web developer or a programmer, you go and whatever. I don't know if it's Craigslist or you go on we call Alibaba and you find that guy. Why can't it be a Jamaican? So to your point, me never want a guy leave, go US. Want him stay Jamaica and create hubs where people go online and find me and the man work from Jamaica. So
you're right.
Me don't want them leave. Want them
because
stay.
you're right, because like all of these companies in Jamaica, you have call center companies in Jamaica, you have the digital, all of them people that need them people. And majority of people them are going to get people from outside the country. So I'm saying, so even when it comes to education, we have to steer the education in the new era, which is technology, IT, cybersecurity, them realm. Not everybody have to go get logistics and business degree. That now we're going to win our next couple.
And that's a problem, You're right. When you say there's a mismatch between supply and demand. Because when we grow up, be a lawyer, be a doctor. Not everybody a lawyer, a lot more doctors there. And then everybody, so you're right. When you start target things so we can have a competitive advantage, and stop telling everybody going to be lawyer and doctor and business degree. I understand you need business degree enough. I understand business, but focus on something that's more STEM, science, technology, mathematics, engineering. Something like that. Where people can do programming. Right now, brother, if we could relive my life, I start code from early. All the billionaires right now.
I tell you.
All the billionaires right now can code, and can program, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. These guys, they're all programmers. Mark Andreessen, who create Netscape. Are all programmers, bro. Because with programming, you can create tangible business for your yard. Anything. Oh, you're right.
I mean,
it's an interesting dynamic.
Yes, so like for me, them thing that we look at when I think about solution, where like the opportunity is there right now. Cause all of these years, me think about there's a demand for it.
Yeah.
There's not enough people to do it. Is what I say?
Yeah.
And so you see. So, but yeah, man. But we have to close it up, brother. It's a come to.
Yeah. I guess. How would I close it is maybe we can go around the round table and everybody can get probably all them see, what is required to be done from the JLP for one, with the trust of the people and maybe improve things in the short term. And Carter, maybe we can go first. Now that they've won and they've an overwhelming majority and them can pass pretty much in the legislation that they want, what y'all look to see from them to improve your country as a finals here, let's say?
Well, may I see in the next, another 4 years, the next 4 years, we expect to see some focus on what Nicholas just talked about, looking at what you can invest in educationally locally, but can also be utilized internationally. So, yes, the person doesn't have to leave Jamaica, but yes, they can be trained to be utilized in an international workforce. That's how one thing is, brother. You need to invest in crime. Crime don't happen because of man just idle. Crime is because of there's a short access to supply. You know what I mean? So that means that people literally can't cover the basic needs of them every day. Just meaning food, shelter, and clothing, the basic necessities for survive. The Bonanchis and the curry goat politics. Like, bro, we not 2020. May I say that? me born 87. And that may I say come right through. Me not see no change, no evolving. You know, that means I guess what? The people itself have not evolved there. You know what I mean? So what me want to see, brother, we need just like the first world country them, you talk about part program and all them thing there. Brother, set aside some funds. You go through a pandemic, set aside some funds, you know what I mean? For help those, especially you target the people you see, the high school students and the students who want to get that next level education. Try to target those population and influx and try to put the funds to make sure so that basic needs are covered. So we don't have these young youth just looking at compound TV and say, when they ask them, what if I never have music, where they do? They might say, yo, I don't want to talk about that because when they think about this, we take up the gun.
Madness,
They must see no other solution. You see what I say? So please, may I ask, if you're not going to talk about in a shower and whether the rest and one kind of self, put under the people and stop talking about who have clocks and who not have this. I'm tired of it. That's all, man.
Dean, what you have to say?
Yes, let me go before you close off. Because no, for me, I think we'll probably talk about it right short. But if I were to summarize, I think you're right. The mix of the educated workforce has to change. It can't just be the systematic go to be a bank teller or be a businessman, go to business administration, or you are youth or be a. There's so much more happening that if we don't mind sharp, we're gonna be behind. In the tech field, we have to get more sharp. AI, machine learning, as I said, cybersecurity, cloud computing. Let's see if Jamaica could be the Singapore, as you say, of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
In the sense that we can be seen as the leader in that space. And to be honest, this is not a short-term solution, to be honest. This is a long-term one. The investment have to start in the short term. And, there's a guy, Tyrone, him have this I Create. Give you like them some opportunity to keep growing and don't stifle them, support them kind of industries there, which is unconventional, but the future. So that's one. Got to say it again. The JLP need to make sure that there's a bit of credibility, no more corruption. If the budget is £20 billion, let us at least account for 19. And I'm still going to one. Let's at least account for 19, please. And then the crime crime is a function of everything else. It don't just happen by itself. So at least try and help the young people, to start become something of themselves. And maybe they can start with some short-term, trigger programs to start make them work on some factory or something. I don't know. But whatever is happening is the youths right now between age 15 and 25, rescue them, please. Focus on that demographic because those are the ones that are most vulnerable right now when things are clash. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, well said. And with me closing off it, and the reason why I'm like bring up Singapore is something you just highlight. The reason why Singapore was end up become the economic power of that part of the world. One, them tackle corruption. First thing them tackle. Because if you have corruption, you cannot progress. You understand? So you have to tackle. So for the JLP, out them tackle corruption. Make that a priority. No exception to the rule. Not because me know you, none of that. Make it pass a law that no exception to the rule when it comes to corruption. And also, reason why I'm bringing up Singapore again. Singapore had their people learn English.
Yeah.
By not force, but this was part of their development program. And you being that part of the world, low corruption, also speak English, all of the Western business and where them love go. Singapore. Tax and tax laws right benefits the lot of favorable tax laws towards corporation. So a lot of Western countries instead of going to China to create the office, where the best place to start now? Singapore. English speaking country, tax benefit corporation, and also corruption is very, very low.
Yeah.
So they make the country favorable. And while I bring up like some of them like IT position is that a lot of them are remote. Like you right now you call for any most of these help desk issue. You don't want to feel like you call somebody locally, You call somebody across the world,
Yeah.
And the reason why I said Jamaica is 3 hours or less from the US. We're right there. So all I'm saying, if there's a relationship that can build with the US company, if Jamaica can end up tackle those, they can create jobs and not just customer service, these whatever. I mean, like life changing position. Where somebody no want go UE, him not have to go no UE. Him can go. Him know what program for going. Cause not everybody is built for.
No, you're right.
The university. So I'm just saying there's a lot of layers to it. But all I'm saying, I see opportunity where Jamaica, but the government have to just want to make that change. Where Jamaica can actually make a step, because we are so close to the big dog. You talk about economy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wall Street open at 9 o'clock. It doesn't matter which part of the world. The world will start move until New York time, Eastern time, 9 o'clock. And Wall Street start trade.
Yeah.
You understand what I say? Everybody wake up after that. So all I'm saying that there's opportunity. We are so close. We can make this investment in these programs. Actually can, people can live at Jamaica. Jamaica actually, they need to work on the infrastructure and all of that. And, you can have a bright future, but you have to make the investment now. From the younger kids, make them very comfortable working with computers, make them, working in some uncomfortable areas, make it be the norm. And then you can have a generation of kids that the thing, working on these things comes second nature. Right?
Yeah.
And just last point, with them you have the ACA group. I forgot the time when they hired this kid from I forgot the name of the ACA group, Anonymous or whatever. You was like a 13-year-old. Okay?
Yeah.
so this has become a second nature to him. So that's what I'm saying. If the government invests, trust me, I can see, but money has to spend at the right place. That's all. People, I don't know me, I know when I say this, and it seems like I'm hypocritical when I say this, because I know I'm not discuss Jamaican politics. But I think this was a well-needed conversation, and the good thing we did, we not complain. We hate complain without solution. True. Anytime I bring up a complaint, I always try to have a solution within the same complaint. So, you know what I mean? So, open people got some nugget from this, who they are yard, who they are abroad. And, you know what I mean? You just need to think different. You can't do the same thing over and over. That's the definition of insanity.
Well said.
So
all right, my brother.
Until next time, people. Yeah, Dean, respect. And yes, Carter, you're late again.
Again, I'm still.
Now I can go out this time, man. But respect for make the time for it. And people remember, Dean, we're on it again with your IG.
Financer, Link up on Financer,
Spell it for them.
FINEANTSA. It's like a play on words between fine and ants. And you don't know, so you got to go and find answers, but go and change all the way you think,
All right. So people definitely go check it out. And Carter, you show to the IG, I know.
No, well, they already know where to find me, you know what I mean? At Carter C4.
All right.
That
and then,
podcast link, right? Where you can get your merchandise, so check it out.
Yeah, man. So remember, check out JamaicanStateOfMind.com. You can find all of the links to where the podcast is available. And also you can get the merch there, like Carter said. And follow us at Jamaican State of Mind Pod on IG, J State of Mind on Twitter, and Jamaican State of Mind on Facebook. In the meantime, people, like I always said, please be objective, be smart. And next time I'll get into some American politics, because some people request me to talk about what I want. So until next time, people, please be safe and peace.
All right, cool. Respect.